What is good, everyone? My name is Wilson, and we are doing a Twisted Color Pie Cube draft on Magic Online. And this is telling me that it's ending soon, so we better do this quickly. Now, we got tons of time. You can check out my stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at 5 p.m., ending, when we end it. Twitch.tv/CrewmanWilson. Let's see what we got here. We got some interesting ones. I'm looking at things like Gideon Jura is pretty interesting. Skull Clamp is a good one. Assemble Legion is great. Psionic Blast. No one expects the Psionic Blast. That's the cool thing with this cube is that blue is very aggressive, and I do like drafting this blue deck. But I think that we're going to take Skull Clamp here. One deck that I found that is incredibly good is the Tokens deck. And if we can do things like wheel this Goblin Bombardment or even wheel this Assemble Legion, Skull Clamp Assemble Legion, my goodness. That is quite a thing. It's quite a thing that we can do. All right. What do we got here? No, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot at all. There really isn't anything that makes me go like, oh yeah, of course I would take this card. Like I'm looking at like Scrubland and Marsh Flats. There's also like... yeah, I just don't see anything other than Scrubland and Marsh Flats. And between the two, I want to take Marsh Flats. I don't want to take Survival. The other card that, I think it's really like between these three. I really don't want to go into a Survival deck. I'd really just like to pick up some good mana fixing. So we'll take Marsh Flats and move along. Move along. All right, what do we got here? Well, one thing about this cube is that there's not a whole lot of mana ramp. Green is not the mana ramp, and so there's only one signet in the cube, which is the Rakdos Signet, and then there's a bunch of like kind of derpy artifacts. So like Talisman of Indulgence is quite good. Other cards to look at here are like Looter or Murderous Cut. These are pretty heavily creature decks. So things like Murderous Cut are actually not that bad. I'm going to take this Talisman of Indulgence. Even if we're not red or black, which we are kind of leaning in the black direction, picking up just a Mind Stone that doesn't let you draw a card is very good. Is very, very good. So we're going to take that. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Where's my soapbox? I need my soapbox. Get that out for me. There we go. Let me climb on top. Parallax Tide is insane. This is a first pick card. This is a first pick card. You need to first pick this card every time. Let me just kind of lay the groundwork for you. You play Parallax Tide and you tide away 2 lands. It has 3 fading counters on it. You can even do that in turn 3 if you have Talisman of Indulgence. So let's say you play Parallax Tide. You wave away 2 of their lands. You have Stone Rained them for not 3 turns because it has 3 fading counters, but for 4 turns because it still sticks around even when there are no fading counters on it. This card is bananas. This card wins games that you should not have any business winning. It is an insane card. We're picking up Parallax Tide. All right, getting down off my soapbox. Yeah. All right, there we go. I was never on top of a box. What do we got here? Well, picking up Parallax Tide, it does make me want to be blue. Although, that doesn't mean that we have to be blue. Commandeer is actually kind of wild in this cube because, like, say your opponent does something like play Gideon Jura. Like, you can steal that Gideon Jura. That is now your Gideon Jura. And you are technically, I guess you're 2 for 1 in yourself by doing that, but it's so good. Other cards that are worth mentioning here, there is a Cabal Coffers, which we could be like mono black, but I'm going to take this Commandeer and see where that leads us. And I can see that it is not leading us anywhere that we want to be. We can pick up this Bayou. It's not quite what I want to be doing, but then this Marsh Flats means that it can pick up white, green, or black, which is pretty good. Like, we don't have to play these cards. It's just Parallax Tide is so good. Maybe we should be more of like a green beatdowny strategy. I didn't even notice that Overrun was in this cube. I noticed that Overwhelming Stampede was, but not Overrun. So let's see. We're looking at like Bayou, Duskwatch Recruiter, Crypt Breaker. I guess Crypt Breaker could be fine. But I'm going to take this Bayou. I'd rather just have good mana first and then figure it out as I go. So maybe we're not blue. Maybe we can move these over here. Because I'm looking at like Unburial Rites and Dreamstone Hedron. So Unburial Rites, we can definitely play it off this Bayou and this Marsh Flats. Bloodsoaked Champion also has some pretty good synergies with this cube, especially with things like Skull Clamp. Like, you can attack with it. If they block, that's fine. You bring it back because it triggers itself. So I think it's between these. Also, Genesis. All of these are very good. I'm going to take this Unburial Rites. I think that we can just do more fun things with Unburial Rites. Like, if we Unburial Rites this, we don't get the cast ability because we're not casting it. Makes sense, right? Twilight Mire is a thing. There's also Platinum Empyrean, which is pretty interesting with Unburial Rites. We don't want things like Eldrazi. So I'm gonna take the Platinum Empyrean. See where that leads us. Well, there's a Jet Medallion. That's interesting. There's also a Lumbering Falls, which we could still be blue. We could still do this and then just splash the white for the Unburial Rites. I think I'd rather do that. There's also Crawling Sensation, which can also just get cards into the yard. Maybe it's actually Crawling Sensation. That seems pretty great. Yeah, I think it's probably better than Lumbering Falls. We'll pick up this Terramorphic Expanse. It's just a free Terramorphic Expanse at this point. I'm going to pick up this Vampiric Tutor. Because Vampiric Tutor, what this is going to allow us to do is this is going to allow us to either get Unburial Rites or a way to put a fatty into the yard. Or it'll just like allow us to tutor up something cool like Skull Clamp. And I think it's better than any of these. Apocryphite plus Skull Clamp is pretty good, but I'll take the Unburial Rites. Or, sorry, Vampiric Tutor. Zombie Infestation is actually a very interesting card because then we can discard like Platinum Empyrean and Unburial Rites and then get a 2/2 and then Unburial Rites it. So I'm going to pick up the Zombie Infestation. It's also good with Skull Clamp. Cabal Coffers or Virals. I don't think I want Virals. But at the same time, I don't know if we're going to be playing enough Swamps to Cabal Coffers. I'll take the Virals. This is a thing to Unburial, right? Wow. Wow. Maybe this deck is just very open. We did pass some good graveyard cards, like the Bloodsoaked Champion, but I think that we can make this work. So let's see. Starfield of Nyx is like the cornerstone of the white enchantment deck. So there is that, but we aren't doing white enchantments. In fact, I don't even know if we're doing white at all. Maybe just for the Unburial Rites. There's Shieldred, which is interesting. There's also Noose Constrictor, which can also get these cards into our graveyard. We could also pick up Loyal Retainers, maybe on the wheel, and reanimate big legendary creatures. It's either Shieldred or Noose Constrictor. That's the way that I'm leaning right now. Wolfear Silverheart is also pretty phenom. We do already have 2 big fatties to reanimate and not a whole lot of ways of discarding. We do have 2 ways of getting cards into the graveyard, so I'm going to take this Noose Constrictor. I think that picking up fatties is going to be a lot easier than picking up, Noose Constrictors. Okay, so what do we got here? We got Stronghold Assassin, which is pretty cool because we're going to be making tokens with like Zombie Infestation. Then we can sacrifice it with a Skull Clamp on it to draw cards. That's pretty cool. There's the Grim Haruspex, which, kind of combos with this. There's also Visara, which, is very castable and is also a big fatty to reanimate. Also things like Boon Satyr and Wolfbitten Captive. I mean, these are not really where I want to be when I'm green. Like, I want to be doing this Crawling Sensation Noose Constrictor thing. So I think it's going to be like one of these 3. It might even be Prism, but that seems a little weak. I'll take actually the Stronghold Assassin because I just noticed we have the Crawling Sensation. And Stronghold Assassin plus the Crawling Sensation could be very good. Wow. So Jace. Jace can discard fatties, and it can also be blue cards. I mean, do we just go, like, 4-color Reanimator? Because Jace is very good. I don't want to be playing things like Dark Confidant. Necromancer Stockpile is going a little too hard at that Reanimate strategy. There's also Savannah, which actually might be the pick here, because then Marsh Flats, again, can still just get green. But it can also get that white for the Unburial Rites. I don't think that we're going to be blue. I think that this is a trap. I think I'd rather pick up the Savannah than any one of these. Any player may sacrifice a land. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll just take Savannah here. God, it feels wrong, but it also feels very much like the right pick. Ghastly Demise, I think, is where we want to be at. We do already have a Terramorphic Expanse and a Marsh Flats, and we're going to be discarding cards here. So this is going to be a very easy way of killing a creature. There's also Wooded Foothills, which can pick up both Bayou and Savannah. There's also cards like Regrowth, which Regrowth is fine. So I think it's between Ghastly Demise and Wooded Foothills. Do I want the removal spell, or do I want just good mana fixing? I mean, this kind of leads into this. I think I just want good mana fixing at this point, and then I can pick up the Ghastly Demise and, like, removal spells later. Hopefully. Alright. So here is a kind of an interesting pick. So we have Ulamog and we have Meren. And Meren is kind of interesting because it doesn't say token creatures, so it's any creature. So things like Stronghold Assassin, these tokens that we're going to be sacrificing, these tokens, they can all feed into Meren. And choose target creature card. Otherwise, put in your hand. I mean, I don't really want to be putting things in my hand, but Meren seems pretty good. There's also Ulamog, and there's also Miraculous Recovery. And between these, I think I'd rather have the Meren. We don't have any 4-drops at this point. And Meren fits in pretty nicely there. It has a lot of good synergies with our deck. I think that we'll just do that. Wow, Quicksilver Amulet. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this Quicksilver Amulet because while we are doing the Reanimate plan, we can also just backdoor into just putting giant creatures into play. Like, what if our opponent swings for lethal and then we just put Platinum Empyrean into play and we don't lose any life? That's pretty sweet. Yeah, this is like the perfect card to pick up. If this wasn't here, I would definitely consider Sheldock Isle. Ghoul Tree is a definite possibility, Phyrexian Totem, and even Volrath Stronghold, but we're definitely taking this Quicksilver Amulet. Not looking back. Grave Pact? Grave Pact is very interesting with this deck. We could also take Undercity Informer. Undercity Informer is pretty cool with Crawling Sensation and Zombie Infestation. So we could do that. Grave Pact is very good with things like the Stronghold Assassin and Crawling Sensation. So I think it's between one of these two, and I think that this is actually going to wheel. So I'm going to take... no, I'm going to take the Undercity Informer. Do I want Nezumi? No, I think I want the Undercity Informer. Wow. If we had picked up that Cabal Coffers... As it is, I'm going to take this Emrakul. Emrakul, sweet! Emrakul not only is a card that we can reanimate, or we could put in, but we can also just play it really, really cheaply. Like, we have cards that we can just discard that will make this cheaper. So, yeah, Emrakul, the Promised End. Wow, and Shieldred Wield? That's amazing. There's also a Loyal Retainers. Loyal Retainers could be very interesting. I think we are actually priced into taking the Loyal Retainers because we have 2 legendary creatures at this point. And I don't really want to pick up Shieldred. I already have the Platinum Empyrean to do that. And Shieldred is like... I mean, it's fine. Do I take the Shieldred? I only have 1 Reanimate spell right now. Yeah, I'm going to take the Loyal Retainers. and just casually pick up Visara. Okay. All right, Visara. That is. So there's our big fatties. This is very castable still. Necromancer's Stockpile. Not really what I want to do. Should I play this with a 13, a 9, and an 8 in our deck? I guess I'll just take the Stockpile. I'm not going to play it. Yeah, well, there's our Ghastly Demise, as I almost misclicked on our Fairy Conclave. So yeah, we'll take a Ghastly Demise. Pretty good. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Alright, maybe we play this over the Platinum Empyrean. Volast Stronghold wheeling is, wow, we just got everything. We got it all. So, alright, 21 cards, full deck after pack 2. So now we're just looking for mana fixing and ways to make our deck better. And I am not immediately seeing either one of those things in this pack, but let's talk this one through. There's a Sidisi, which could be interesting, especially with our tokens that we're making. It can help us go get whatever we need, like an Unburial Rites or Emrakul. We could also take Pristine Talisman to ramp us up into 5, which we're looking at Unburial Rites and Genesis. It's also good just to have cards that will ramp us even more. Sidisi, like we could sacrifice a creature with the Skull Clamp on it. That's pretty cool. I think it's definitely between one of these two. Wasteland, I don't think is going to be a card that we want because we are already stretching our mana a little thin, going 3 colors. But you know what? I'm going to take the Sidisi, especially with the Grave Pact. I think that's just really cool. All right. Ooh, some good cards here. There's Opheomancer is a very good one. Mindslaver, even though we're already technically Mindslavering, and Grapple with the Past. So Opheomancer, Mindslaver, Grapple. There's also honorable mention to like Maze of Ith or Dark Salvation, but I really think it's one of these 3. Grapple is very interesting. Grapple definitely helps out with the Emrakul, because that's in standard right now. That's happening. This is happening. This is real life. Opheomancer is just great. Just like so good holding off the ground. And like especially with this cube, like being able to hold off the ground like this is just such a huge part of this game. I don't think it's Mindslaver, so it's between Opheomancer and Grapple, and I'm going to take the Opheomancer. It's just so good. Plus also like Opheomancer plus Skull Clamp, like who can say no to that? Gargadon, wow, Entomb. All right, we're going to pick up Entomb here. So what Entomb does for this deck is Entomb is going to do so much work in this deck. So not only, so like the surface level of Entomb is like getting either the Unburial Rites or the Fatty to put into the yard. So like if we already have Iona in the graveyard, we can put Unburial Rites into the graveyard and then be able to flash it back. Or if Unburial Rites is already in the graveyard, we can put Iona into the graveyard. The other cool thing that this does is that this will allow us to go get something like Zombie Infestation and put it into our graveyard to make the Emrakul 2 cheaper, because then we'll put instant and enchantment into our graveyard. That's pretty cool. Entomb, probably one of the best cards that we could be picking up here. All right. What do we got here? We got the Goyf Man. The Goyf Man cometh, and Overgrown Tomb. We already have a Bayou, so Overgrown Tomb would just be redundant. So I'm going to take this Goyf. I think also Goyf is pretty good in this deck because we're going to be filling up our graveyard a lot, and just getting that like early blocker down is going to be great. Bitter Blossom plus Skull Clamp. Is that real? Is that a real thing? If Bitter Blossom wasn't here, I'd probably be taking Treetop Village, but we're going to just take this Bitter Blossom. That's really good. All right. Wow. All right. Can we even play Sneak Attack? We have Wooded Foothill. No, we really can't. There's also Rakdos Return in this pack, which is just kind of wild. There's Avacyn. Avacyn could take the place of Platinum Empyrean. We could also take Kessig Cage Breakers, but I don't feel like we're going to get a lot of creatures into our graveyard. I kind of like the idea of just putting Avacyn into play. And I don't see any of these other cards doing it for us. So yeah, we're going to do that. Take out this Platinum Empyrean. Maybe put this in against a variety of decks. Whip? Whip? Whip it good? There's also a Polluted Delta. Polluted Delta can go get us Bayou, but that's it. I think I want Whip. Because then we can, like, whip back. We can, like, whip back Ulamog. Or whip back, like, Sidisi. That's pretty cool. Alright, we'll take Whip. Over the Polluted Delta. You know, Polluted... Yeah, I'll take Whip. I'll take Whip. Because I was thinking Polluted Delta could be good because we have the Ghastly Demise, but I just knew that we were going to get Evolving Wilds. Yeah, we'll take Evolving Wilds. There we go. Easy game. Wow, I'd like to be able to play this Tormenting Voice. Nothing's really here. Here's our good friends at Puka Trade, their podcast, The Flash of Insight. We'll take this Hallows Spectre. Grapple Wield. Wonderful. There's also Maze of Ith, but I don't think that we can do that. What do we got? We got 20... Is this 24? No, 27. Like, I don't know if we're going to be playing things like... Oh, gosh. This whole deck is just great. Probably remove Genesis. Probably removing Varals. 4 fatties. That's a lot of fatties. Flesh Carver. What does this do? Okay. You could also just take Icy. Icy's pretty sweet. Maybe we just take Cryptolith, right? We do have a lot of creatures that we're making. A lot of tokens. Triskaidekaphobia. Nah. There's a Taiga, which if we had picked up that sneak attack, that would have been pretty interesting. I'll take it anyways. We may play it. Fetid Heath. We'll actually play Fetid Heath. Because we have the white here that we need, and we have the white here that we need. So that's a good pickup. That's a good free pickup. Oh my gosh. Really? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. We do have to take out some cards here. What are we going to take out? I don't even know. Alright, here's what I'm thinking. I took out the Avacyn, and I took out the Undercity Informer, and I took out Visara. So the reason why I took those out is because... why did I take these out? So I took out Undercity Informer because I feel like that this is kind of a pipe dream backdoor win condition, and it doesn't directly contribute towards our win condition. So that's why I took him out. Visara I took out because it's not big enough to reanimate, but it's also not small enough to cast. So I took that one out, and then I took out Avacyn because I feel like 3 fatties in this deck is pretty good with only 1 reanimate and 1 way of doing it. So really, like, we do have the opportunity of playing Ulamog or playing Emrakul. We don't really have the opportunity of playing Iona. So Iona, the only real way that can come out is with Loyal Retainers, Quicksilver Amulet, or Unburial Rites. And if I want the 1-turn hit, I can get the Whip. But yeah, so these are the 3 that I went with. Also, really interesting, as I was going through deck building, I noticed with Crawling Sensation. So whenever 1 or more lands put into the graveyard from anywhere for the first time each turn, you get an insect. So we're going to pay attention to Evolving Wilds, Marsh Flats, Terramorphic Expanse, and Wooded Foothills, so we can get the most out of this Crawling Sensation. But I'm going to save this deck. We are going to go into round 1. I will see you all there. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you then.